Gentlemen, welcome back to the mess, which is my desk. And on my desk, I have the slow stick. Now, in my last video, and again, I'll stick a screenshot up on the screen for you. You did see, or you might be able to see here in the background, that I did manage to snap the wings into two, so they didn't work anymore, and it came flying down out of the sky. Obviously not good for a model airplane. So what I've been and done is that the glass fibre shaft, which we had in there before, I've been and replaced it with a 10mm by 10mm carbon fibre extrusion. Now, these aren't cheap. Actually, they are pretty cheap because they're 10 quid for a metre. Now, I got this from an Irish-based company called easycomposites.co.uk. And it's super simple to work with. Just remember, when you drill or you saw or you cut any carbon fibre product, you don't want to be breathing in the dust which it creates. So if you're going to be messing around with carbon fibre, do it outside in the fresh air because it's not nice stuff. That said, this stuff is infinitely stronger than the glass fibre, which just kind of broke away into little pieces, and way better than the crappy little plastic joiners which you get with a slow stick. Now, what I've been and done is that I had more of mine in pieces, and where you've got these pieces here to hold the control rods in, and here for the back of the wing, the bits of the servos and the front piece, is that all these were glued down by HobbyKing as part of the kit, and that's what you would want if you weren't going to rag the living daylights out of it. Now, as you've seen, I managed to put mine in the ground, so I broke mine up. What I found, a really simple tip for you, is that if you get a dirty little hack Dremel tool like this one with a disc cutter on, and a little tip for you, over on Bangballs you can buy a little plastic screen which you can replace that end cap on there just to protect you a little bit, because I'm always afraid, especially with disc cutters, that they're going to split up, and I've seen the effects of what happens when one of those goes. So make sure you get a guard, or at least you have a face mask and a pair of glasses on. Alternatively, you could just use a hacksaw or something like that, but like I said, make sure you do it outside because the dust which this creates isn't very pretty at all. So all I did was just get the Dremel out and cut down the edge next to all the plastic pieces which were glued down, and then very simply just used a pair of wire clippers and then got in there and just crushed the end. So if I show you on that one, see, if you crush it, it's actually a very malleable material if you just get the angles right with it and use a decent tool like a pair of wire clippers. And then I was able to extract each of the plastic joints, and thankfully they were all okay. Let me chuck that in the bin, and then come back and replace it. Now, if you ever have anything like this, make sure you get your measurements right of where each of the plastic parts needs to go. Obviously, with the forward-facing servo bracket, that's fine. You can move that forwards and there's no need to glue that in. But the location of this one here is absolutely key because it will change your centre of gravity around a lot. Now, in the changes which I made is that I actually did make it an inch longer than what it was before. Even with a 1.6 and even a 2.2 battery on the front, it was just about right for the CFG. So I've extended the nose out, which means I can bring the battery back a little bit and potentially use maybe like a little 1.3 battery on it as well. Also a tip for you, this is the piece which was where the elevator and rudder fin was, and you can see the drill holes there. A little tip for you, what I did, I just put that on the end, marked it up, and then I sellotaped this on to here, which then meant when I got my drill and drilled down through the holes, is that number one, the holes were straight all the way through, but they were also in the perfect location to make the replacement. So let me just pop that to one side, and I'll give you a quick rundown on there. So we've got the elevator and rudder fin there. We've got the rear wheel, which has now been glued in. This one's also glued in as well. Oh, a little tip for you, if I just move the camera up underneath, that I'm using the inner ones, the inner holes, because if you put these rods on the outer ones, you don't get as much movement as what you would like. So definitely put the rods on the smaller ones or the inner ones, and they will need drilling out. Then moving up, I've got the servos, again metal geared servos which we've got on there. I elected to put the receiver in underneath the wing. It just felt like a safer place. I've seen other people put them out on the front, but it just felt safer for me, and I've just tucked the antennas back around. And then round here on the front, I've got a 30 amp ESC on the front, and a very simple little Velcro strap to hold the battery up there, which is more than what it needs. And then up underneath, I've just put some Velcro, and that's more than enough to hold the battery still. Also, because I broke the motor mount, one of my friends, Rich, managed to find me a end mounting motor mount, and I've been and epoxied in the motor on the front, the motor mount in there. And that's a much nicer like thrust line on there because it's straight down the main shaft. Oh, to give you a heads up, this carbon rod, without being cut down a little bit just to make it fit for the slow stick, was only 60 grams. So not only ending up with a much stronger fuselage, I also managed to gain or lose some weight as well. So that's happy days. Now onto the wings. So let's move this one out of the way. So what actually happened is that these wings broke down the middle. So what I've been and done is that if I pick the camera up so I can show you, is that I've been and put 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon fibre rods across. So I've just got the Stanley knife blade out, or the craft knife, cut a little divot all the way through, and then put some super glue down in there, and then just shoved the rod in, and then put an extra little bit of glue on top. And what I've also been and done is got some glass fibre tissue. So instead of the really thick stuff which you maybe used on like a roofing application, you can get some 40 gram tissue, which is super inexpensive. And I've just mixed up some epoxy glue. It's not the best glass fibering job in the world because I can see a few lumps down there at the bottom, but it is going to be super strong. And then I elected not to cover the top too much. And up top, again, I've just put an extra piece of glass fibre across the front of the nose. And I've just popped a little sticker on the back to make her look a little bit more pretty. And I'll do the same on the front as well. So that's my slow stick recovery. It should be 1,000,000 times stronger than what she was before. As a little heads up, the weather's going to be absolute pants here in the UK for the next couple of days. So as soon as I can get this one out and fly it, I will do, and I'll get some flight footage because those ailerons, I've got them on about 130% movement, and it spins like that. Apparently they're supposed to be flown slow, but with a 10x5 prop on the front, they really do go fast, and they'll do anything which you make them do. They're really, really cool little models. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Any comments, suggestions, good, bad, or just plain ugly, please let me know in the comments box underneath this video, and I'll see you soon. Cheerios!